The impeach President Trump movement is gaining momentum, and it's creating a nightmare for House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
Exposing lies, revealing truth. Here's the deal with Deneen Borelli.
Nancy Pelosi desperately wants the House gavel to be a key power broker in the Democrat Party. Leadership positions in Congress once meant power, but those days are gone. Wherever she goes, she is haunted by the echoes of impeach President Trump.
When we go forward, as we go forward, it has to run deep. It can't be the Democrats impeach in the House, the Senate, in his view, exonerate, and the Republicans exonerate in the Senate. That this president must be held accountable.
If you could not convict in the Senate and you couldn't actually impeach, that the House could, for history's sake, pass a censure resolution that would force Republicans in the Senate to say something about the president's conduct. Is this something that you're considering?
No.
Okay.
I think censure is just a way out. If you're going to go, you got to go. In other words, if the goods are there, you must impeach.
Pelosi has her work cut out for her to keep order in the House. Freshman Congresswoman Look at My Plants, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, voiced her frustration on ABC.
I think every day that passes, the pressure to impeach grows, and I think that it's justifiable. I think the evidence continues to come in, and I believe that with the president now saying that he is willing to break the law to win re-election, that transcends partisanship, it transcends party lines, and this is now about the rule of law in the United States of America.
The rule of law, said the woman who thought the three chambers of government were the executive, the Senate, and the House. Pelosi's got her hands full with those freshman representatives. Too bad she's also dealing with left-wing talk show hosts. Late-night TV host John Oliver also weighed in.
I can't guarantee that impeachment will work out the way that you want it to, because it probably won't. But that doesn't mean that it's not worth doing.
Yeah, thanks for that, John, but leave the advice giving to actual American citizens, won't you? And speaking of clueless rich people, Democrat California billionaire and liberal activist Tom Steyer is a prominent leader in the impeach President Trump movement. Steyer founded and bankrolled the Need to Impeach initiative by putting $80 million of his money behind the organization. Taking matters a step further, Steyer put House Democrats on notice by launching a $1 million ad campaign and this ridiculous commercial.
This is a message
for leaders of the Democratic Party. For over 2 years, this president has broken the law.
and nothing happened.
You told us to wait for the Mueller investigation.
And when he showed obstruction of justice,
nothing happened.
This is a message for the left-wing lunatics. For over 2 years, this president has fixed our economy, negotiated trade deals, and rocked the unemployment rate. You told us to wait for the Mueller investigation, and when that came back without grounds for impeachment, you're darn right nothing happened. Of course, Steyer's Need to Impeach initiative isn't the only group that Pelosi is trying to ignore. Radical liberal activist organization MoveOn.org is also rallying the troops to push for impeachment proceedings. The organization boasts they have over 10 million signatures backing the Impeach Trump effort. And last weekend, MoveOn.org launched their Impeach President Trump campaign by partnering with other groups and organized rallies across the country from California to New York. MoveOn.org also promoted a nationwide phone call with House Democrat Congressman Rashida Tlaib and Al Green to motivate activists. Their website dramatically reads, "What will it take?" And I can answer that for you. Impeachment will require the president doing something illegal, and that hasn't happened. That isn't happening right now, and that probably isn't going to happen ever. Poor Pelosi. Calls for impeachment are gaining momentum among voters, too, with the Wall Street Journal reporting Support is growing among Democrats to begin an impeachment inquiry into President Trump, presenting a challenge to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who has so far opposed hearings as politically costly and divisive. You can see why Pelosi doesn't want to move forward with impeachment, but against her wishes, several 2020 Democrat presidential candidates are all in, including Senators Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, Kirsten Gillibrand, and Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Yikes. Even former Vice President and presidential candidate Joe Biden got bit by the liberal extremism bug. Good old Joe is trying to connect with the radical base.
If you start off with the notion there's nothing you can do, well, why don't you all go home then, man? Or let's start a real physical revolution if you're talking about it. Because we have to be able to change what we're doing within our system.
Physical revolution? Seriously? Here's the deal. Pelosi is boxed in by the extreme elements of the Democrat Party who are driving the political agenda. Well-funded left-wing activist groups and far-left freshman representatives Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Rashida Tlaib are setting the Democrat agenda. This is the way it's working. Activist groups are creating news about impeaching President Trump by getting people in the streets. Ocasio-Cortez and Tlaib are creating news about impeachment through social media and interviews in anti-Trump media outlets. This combined effect is influencing the views of Democrats, creating momentum for the impeachment of President Trump nightmare, and Pelosi is too helpless to fight back. Nancy Pelosi has lost all control of the radical elements of her movement. She has the gavel, but she's missing the power and command of her role as Speaker of the House. With all due respect, Nancy, have you considered retirement? I'm Deneen Borelli with Blaze TV.